And so now, assuming that I can print some photos or even find photos on my mobile phone, I'm going to present animal names using photos. And I might even give myself a reminder to print or find photos. Now let's see here. I have some fun animal photos that I've used for different lessons in the past. And so I might go ahead and use some of those photos for this lesson. And now is probably a good time to go ahead and decide on exactly what vocabulary I am going to be teaching. What is the language that I want them to use? This could just be the list of the animal names, which are nouns, but I could also start thinking about what sort of verbs, adjectives, other types of language that I am going to want them to use and put together in order to form a sentence. So I could quickly go through these photos and decide, since I've got these available here. If you're looking in your textbook, you could see what sort of language is lined out there. But I know that I have these 10 or so animals here. And I'm going to make a vocabulary list. You might find it helpful to put your vocabulary list near the top of your lesson. Another great spot is right here in the presentation where I am teaching these things. All right, so I've made a list of my vocabulary words. Now this is a fun kind of international list of animals from all around the world. I'm here in Montana, so if I wanted to contextualize this, I could look for specific words like moose. We also have grizzly bears and squirrels. So wherever you're at in the world, you could contextualize this specifically to where you are if you wanted. And in order to present this vocabulary to my students, I'm simply going to hold up a picture and say, repeat after me. This is a grizzly bear. This is a giraffe. Or if we have two of them, these are bears. And I could also plan on using language as I'm presenting this to get them to review some verbs and adjectives. So perhaps I'll use some sentences such as, the giraffe is talking. Using ing verbs. Or the bear has long claws. So using some kind of descriptive language, such as adjectives. And so this is really the gist of my presentation, is I'm going to have photos of all of these animals, and I'm going to present the photo to the class and say, repeat after me, this is a giraffe. And I'll have them repeat, this is a giraffe. This is something we call choral repetition. Giraffe. Giraffe. And I'm presenting something new while also trying to build on some language that they already know. In this case, we're assuming that they know some simple verbs or some simple adjectives. If I wanted to add a little repetition to this presentation, then I could add one extra step where the teacher points to a photo and the students say the name of the animal. No more saying repeat after me, I just simply point to a photo and see if they can repeat after me. It's a good little comprehension check. All All right, so far we have our warm-up and our presentation. Got two little activities here, another activity here. But wait, before we move on, one thing we can do with this particular style of outline is think about how much time each of these activities takes. And so for my warm-up, I usually don't like my warm-ups to go too long. I think I can do both of these in about 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes. So I'm gonna try to do 20 questions in 8 minutes, which will give me, and personal links usually take about 2 minutes. So together, here's 10 minutes of my lesson, and for the presentation, I'm going to challenge myself and try to do this in about 5 minutes. Now, some teachers will take 20 or 30 minutes just to do this, but I actually want to move rather quickly through this part of my lesson and get my students practicing and playing around with this language and trying to create their own sentences. So I'm going to challenge myself to 5 minutes. I could give myself a little more time there and go 10 minutes, but I feel like this is pretty simple, so we can move through it rather quickly. Time to move on to practice.